Hi everyone, it's Birdie here, the Recycled Hippie Chick. Okay, I wanted to do a page. I want to start a new little series in my Arlene book. Arlene had a challenge. She had a challenge to make a scrapbook or journal, art journal, junk journal, out of vacuum bags. And girlfriend finished her challenge. And she mailed it to me. So I am going to take on the rest of her challenge and decorate the book and do the pages. So most of her pages, of course, since they're a vacuum bag, she made a ton of pockets. Now, the book was a little wobbly inside. I felt like it needed more signatures. So I glued 2 signatures that I had started from somewhere in to her pages. So here, this was glued onto her vacuum bag, but she had already done like a triple pocket started with the bag. So I just continued on. I didn't want to block her pockets. So I glued my page onto her pockets. So anyway, today what I'm going to do is go through and put some color on the pages and get started for our Arlene series of Trash Bag Journal, Vacuum Sweeper Bag Journal. She's got all kinds of little pages in here. So mission accomplished, Arlene. You did a good job. So that's what I'm going to do, is work on that. Today I just want to get some color on the pages, and what I've done is I just randomly picked out 2 sprays and 2, what are these called? Liquitex inks, acrylic ink. And I'm going to only allow myself to use those on the pages for color. First, before I start that, I want to show you the last time I did a video. I was starting these envelopes and I had to set them aside to let them dry. So I have finished them and I wanted to show you the finished product. This was an envelope that I folded up like this. You can see part of the label, and I folded it up and I put paper on it, sewed around it, and made a little tuck spot for a tag. Now, I learned this from somebody, and I can't remember their name. I said it in the last journal, so whoever you are, I'm sorry. But thank you for showing me. This one here was a decorated pocket leaving the window, so whatever gets stuck in here, you'll be able to see the picture. Just a lot of collage is simply all it was on some envelopes. This one, I can stick something cool inside of there. Maybe whoever gets it might want to put a focal point on it. I'm just going to stick one of these in each one of my journals as I sell them. And that way, whoever gets it next can either finish it, leave it, do whatever they want with it. This is another one of those envelopes that was folded up, and I just made it into a pocket. I did not finish the back because I'm just going to glue it directly onto a page, or just stick it in a naked journal and let somebody else glue it where they want it. It was fun. If I trusted a glue stick more, I think a glue stick would have been better, but since I used matte gel medium, you know, there was a lot of drying time. So I don't trust glue stick that much. Just don't. There's times when I have used this places. Now, I'll use this for my little letters or whatever, but there's a lot of times when later on I go into my art journal and things are popping up and I know it's from glue stick. So I just don't trust it. Anyway, I like this one. I stuck a butterfly on it. I am really hurting today from a toothache. So I just decided, I have been through so much, I just needed to share. And so I just wanted to come out and play and visit, do my art therapy. I cut out a couple pictures out of a book, and on the page I saw you know, words that pertain to the picture. So I cut the words out and just stuck them on, you know, a background. And I'm keeping those together so when I use those in something, maybe today, I don't know, that I'll have, you know, Betsy always loved late summer, you know, so it goes with that picture. So I thought that's a cool idea. When I get these books, I'm going to start looking for some words that describe that picture and take advantage of that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start just getting color on the pages and gabbing. As most of you probably already know, we have had a tornado in our town. I think I posted it on Instagram. Those of you who watch my Instagram. I live 4 miles from Andover, Kansas. And it's where I went to high school. It's our town. My kids went to, well, one of them, the other one I homeschooled, went to, our school district is Augusta. So we are right in the middle. We're 4 miles from Augusta, 4 miles from Andover. But I just shop and bank and everything still in Andover. It's just, you know, our town. Well, in 91, we had a huge tornado. It came within 3 blocks of our home, and it devastated our community. Those who were hit and those who were not hit, it devastated us. Well, last week was our however many years anniversary from 1991. And of course, everyone knows, like, that affects us all over again. So every year when that anniversary rolls around, we all go through some emotional turmoil again, because we remember over and over and over every year. So this year we went through our little anniversary days and of the 91 tornado, and within 3 days of that anniversary, we had another tornado roll through. Now the first one was a F5, whatever that means. This next one was only an F3, but still it wreaked havoc. It's like the tornado was like, well, I haven't been through this part of town yet. Let's go ahead and take out the other half, you know? When that tornado came through our town, it almost within 100, well, the first half of the tornado went through our southern end of town, where the first tornado took out flat dab through the middle. So this one went on the southern edge, took out neighborhoods, our YMCA, just, you know, country homes, everything through the southern edge. And then when it crossed over the middle section of our town, it was then on the path. From there on, it went, I don't know, I'm going to guess 30 miles on the ground. It went within 100 yards of the same path as the last one, once it crossed over the center of our town. It was the craziest thing. Like, one farm in the center of our town, the first tornado, it took out the west side of their property. This time, it took out the east side of their property. It's just crazy. And from then on, it was just within feet of the original tornado. So I was scared to death because I'm out of town at this time in Oklahoma City with a girlfriend of mine. She is hi Casper, hi Tracy, if you're watching. She is an antique dealer and has some booths and stuff in Missouri. And she comes up here to do her marketing, you know, to buy her product to sell. And we decided this time there was going to be a big flea market in a little town outside Oklahoma City. We decided we were going to, oh man, it goes right through. I'm hoping that doesn't dry my pocket together. we decided we were going to go to Oklahoma City to this outdoor market this time. So we had gone down there, and my husband calls and says, oh my gosh, we are having another tornado. I'm like, oh, great. Here I am. Of course, what can I do anyway, right? But that my family is up here and I am not was just hard. So then Tracy and I came back home, and because of the devastation, it was kind of hard to get home. We had to wander around because a lot of the roads that go to my house were closed. As a crow flies, it missed my house by about 1.5 miles, which, if you've been through the 91 tornado, is a long ways, because last time it was 3 blocks. This time it's 1.5 miles. So I was very thankful that it was that far away. But the thing that amazed me was we had no deaths and just minor injuries. So I just thanked God every day that there were no deaths and only minor injuries. And everyone I talked to has a story that, well, we came this close and pushed Dad in just as the tornado came over. And, there's a story from everybody on how they did not get hurt. So it's just amazing to me, with that many houses that were involved in that kind of a tornado, that no one was hurt. No one was killed. So then my friend Tracy, we're back home, and she's still wanting to shop. She's the Energizer Bunny. I'm telling you, this girl doesn't stop. I'm shocked that I don't know how her body keeps going. I really don't, because you know how I am. I get tired and want to sleep just driving home from town. But I had a great weekend. I mean, my body did phenomenal the whole time that we were out of town. So we get back into town and I crash. I start feeling terrible. I just could. The last day she wanted to run around, I did, because I hated for her to come all this way and then me peter out and say, no, I can't make it. I did make it, but oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how I was crashing. And then during all this, I start getting a toothache. Well, I had been fishing with a friend the week before, and we ate a lot of jerky out on the lake. And I thought maybe I had just agitated that tooth from chewing on tough jerky, all day. No, it just got worse and worse and throbbed, and then it was hurt to breathe, and then it was painful to, chew. I couldn't chew on it. It just got worse and worse. So the second Monday came around, I went to the dentist, and I said, I need this tooth pulled, because, of course they want to do a root canal and a cap and a blah, blah, blah. It's the only tooth I have left back there. I said, no, eventually all my teeth will be gone and I can get false teeth. No, I want it pulled. Well, they said, okay, we'll pull it if you insist. Well, then they took my blood pressure, and it was 195 over 120, and said, no, your blood pressure is too high. We are not going to be pulling a tooth today. So I said, that can't be right. I just went to the endocrinologist this morning, and it was 135 over 180. I know they looked at me like, sure, lady, sure. But it really was. But I did a stress test, and the cardiologist said I was having spikes, and that I just needed to pay attention to that. Okay. Well, how do I know when I'm having a spike? I don't even know. I can't even feel when my blood pressures rose. Obviously it did, but he said it was spiking. He did a stress test and said it was spiking with exertion. Well, I didn't do anything Monday except for go to the dentist and the endocrinologist. So I don't know where my exertion came from, except my weekend with Tracy. I wonder if I overdid it, because literally we went to hundreds of antique stops. There were 600 outdoors, and I bet we did 25 in town, just driving around to different, places. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. So I'm home with antibiotics and Advil and trying to get my blood pressure down so I can go in next week and get the dang thing pulled. So there's a lot of pudding going on in my life right now. I'm eating soft stuff that I can mush around in my mouth until next week. That's what's been going on in my neck of the woods. How have you guys been? Arlene, I know you've been seeing a lot of flowers pop up, and I don't want to be a snob when I tell you what they are, but I've been personal gardener for 15 years, so when I see something, I automatically, if it's from my neck of the woods, can help you on what it is. So I hope I'm helping you. And I hope you don't pick those wild blackberries because they were covered in poison ivy. Leaves of 3, leave them be, right? I probably ought to pause and dry this for a little bit, okay? Because this vacuum bag is really soaking these up. So I will be back in just a jiff. Okay, onward we go. My husband's going to be so cranky when he gets home because it is pouring down rain today, like buckets. And I just stood at the back door earlier and looked outside and saw the rain was just coming over the gutters everywhere. So I stepped out there to see what was going on. And I walked over to the downspout and absolutely nothing was coming out of the downspout. So I walked to the other end and absolutely nothing is coming out of that downspout. So both downspouts are plugged, and he's going to have to get up there on the roof in the pouring rain when he gets home and unplug the downspouts. So I called him, gave him heads up, told him what was going on. He said, I'll climb up there and get it unplugged when I get home. So I know that would not be my favorite thing to do in the pouring down rain. That's why I'm thankful I have a wonderful husband. Because I don't know what I would do if I lived alone and didn't have anybody, to be able to help me with that stuff. Praise God for that man every day. I want to hurt him on a regular basis, but I just love the tar out of him and am thankful for him also. Isn't that crazy? I'm sure a lot of you girls are like that. And I'm sure they want to hurt us regularly too and love the heck out of us at the same time also. That's just called marriage, isn't it? I had some tacky glue that I glued these signatures in with earlier. And it started drying and I didn't want to waste it. So I put some water in it and got it a little too watered down. And I wanted to use it up. So now it's kind of becoming my tacky glue Mod Podge to work in my art journal with. I really need some things to put in between these pages as I work. So I don't stick together. And I need to make sure I'm pushed up so you guys are in view, because I noticed earlier when I stopped to dry that I was getting out of focus. And I had to put that darn bright light back up there. And it causes all kinds of shadows, but I couldn't see the other way. I need the light. Okay, what else can we stick on here? What else? My daughter-in-law's family was in the tornado, and it cut through. I've watched the video a million times, I feel like, but it's amazing how the tornado cuts through the tree row at their house. It's on its path, and it comes to the tree row, and it kind of dissipates through the tree row and then picks back up steam again. So I was like, you'll plow through a YMCA, but a tree row slows you down a bit. That was just weird to me. But it did. It slowed it down. I am going to give God the glory for that. I feel like He spared that family right there. And had to dissipate to get past their house, because then it was destruction again. Although I don't understand, why other people aren't spared. But I don't know. I just don't know the answer to that. God's got meaning to His madness that we don't understand, and we don't have to understand it. All we have to do is trust that everything happens for some purpose. But it took their garage out. It lifted their roof off and set it on the cars in the driveway, and destroyed the garage, and it lifted the house up and shifted it on the foundation and then set it back down. So it blew all of their windows out. So, of course, the rain damage is terrible. But they were still able to get clothing and knickknacks and a few things that were in cupboards and, stuff like that out to salvage it. Drying. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and work on this page right here. I think Betsy would look good on this page. I don't like seeing this, so I'll just do a little more collaging and see if we can't cover that up a little more. Let's get something with some fall colors going on here, since she likes late summer. I don't want to think too much, because this is a pet peeve of mine when people search around. Let's just go ahead with our first idea, because I hate it when people spend half of their airing time looking for... I can't get the lid open. There. Looking for things that match or whatever, and I don't care. You know what I'll do? I will put this over it just to cover it. Man, this is some runny Mod Podge here. I'll put this over it just to cover it, and then we'll add our fall colors with paint of some sort. We got our summer color. Oh, I can't get the lid on it. Couldn't get the lid off of it. Okay. I got to tell you about my smoothies I've been making. I've been learning about, you know, the weeds in my yard. I don't know if I've talked to you guys about that or not. But anyway, I've been eating the weeds in my yard. Been learning that God put those weeds there for us to, number one, eat. You know, it's not until we got spoiled and had everything we needed that we started saying, ew, we don't like the weeds in our yard. They're edible and they're medicinal. So I know there's a purpose God put them there. So I have been learning what is edible and what's not, and what's medicinal and what's not with the weeds in my yard. So right now I have dandelion, henbit, chickweed, all this stuff, wild lettuce, all this stuff going on in my yard. And I've been putting it in smoothies. Wild lettuce you have to be careful with, because if you get too much of that, it can make you hallucinate and do all kinds of crazy. It's in the opioid family, so you have to know how to dose with that. You know, you need to do your research, because did you know when you break open any plant outside and it has that white milky stuff, that's called a latex. And if you're allergic to latex gloves or whatever, then you could possibly get irritation from that white milky sap because it's in the latex family. I learned that. Anyway, I've been making smoothies out of my weeds, and I've been putting henbit in there. Just about every weed in your yard is an anti-inflammatory. And here we are as Americans, plumb full of inflammation. Wonder why? Because we don't eat the stuff in our yard anymore, like the hunters-gatherers did. Anyway, almost all of them are anti-inflammatories. A lot of them are good for arthritis. I can't tell you how many vitamins and minerals dandelion has in it. It's probably one of the healthiest weeds we have, besides what I call goosefoot. I'm not sure what the real word for that weed is, but it hasn't really started growing very well yet, so I haven't started eating it yet. But dandelion is just super mega good for you. All parts of it, even the root. I'm even gonna, when fall comes and I can start digging the roots up and drying them, I'm gonna make some I call it dandy blend. I've always bought it as a coffee alternative in the past online, but I'm gonna roast my own and try to do my own coffee alternative with the dandelion root. So I have been making my smoothies with, I put some almond milk in and some of my kombucha, and I put just a little bit of elderberry syrup in it, and I put ginger. I shred up some ginger in it, and I put some mango in it, frozen mango and frozen avocado for some good fat. And I put some flaxseed meal in it for fiber. And I put some chia seeds in it to kind of thicken and gel it up. And what else do I put in it? Dandelion and chickweed today. And today I put a little bit of wild lettuce in it. Wild lettuce is really good for pain relief. So that's what I put in my smoothie today. And I'm loving it. Can't say that I've seen hordes of any benefits, but just because we don't feel better doesn't mean vitamins and stuff nutrients aren't going into our body that we need, right? And then I found some, I don't know if you can see it, I found some violets out in the yard last night when I was feeding the goats. So I brought them in, stuck them in a jar with some dandelion blooms and some honey, and let that steep overnight. And I've been sipping on that. I would have it eaten if it wouldn't quit clogging my straw. So I probably should have strained it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the dandelion blooms and the violets, the greenery that's in it, and put it in my next smoothie. Just let it continue going on. Just keep getting the goodness out of it. That's what I'm going to do. Why I don't have a thing of glue over here, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything in this little tacky glue thing or not. So that's what I've been doing. Call me cuckoo if you want. That's okay. I am used to being called cuckoo. I'm just going to cover up my sun. I like the sun. If I rip it, can I make 2 lines out of it? Let's see if we can do this. That's taken my little cute little end off, but whatever, we'll just do that. There we go. Good enough. I'm just playing. We all kind of finished a page. When it dries, I'll kind of go around, you know, and highlight some stuff with my Stabilo or whatever, ink pen, doodles, whatever I'm in the mood for. But for right now, I'm calling that good. I'm going to dry it real quick and we'll see where we're at. Okay, we're at 30 minutes. I think we'll call this good. But I do want to tell you, let's just say something crazy happened. You know, we are such a spoiled country. Who's to say that we won't have, you know, that we're not so spoiled that we can't have some trials and tribulations in this country? Who's to say with all the weird stuff going on that there wouldn't be a food shortage or something, cyber attack or something weird happen to us? I think it's a good idea to do your research now, and maybe even print off your research so that you have it on paper, because if there was ever a cyber attack and we didn't have internet, we couldn't look things up. So we kind of need to run them off and have them in paper form that we would be able to eat right out of our yard. That I've been dehydrating stuff. You know, henbit and chickweed, they're only around in the spring here. So I've been dehydrating them, putting them in jars. I have been making tinctures out of them. I've been putting them in jars with vodka and making tinctures so that if I ever needed them medicinally, all I'd have to do is take just a couple drops of that alcohol and I would get the medicinal properties out of it. The dried version I have been putting in jars that I can make teas out of. I could drop it in vegetable soup. I mean, so yes, it tastes like a weed, but when you mix it with something else, you know, I mix my tea, my dandelions with the mangoes and stuff, the fruit overdoes any grassy, and some of them are actually good. They're not bitter, they're not yucky, they're palatable. Just like spinach or anything else you buy at the store. These just happen to be in your yard. So you can mask it. If you say, oh man, I don't feel good, I need some dandelion tea, well, mix it with a tea bag that you already have, raspberry or whatever, and it covers up so you don't feel like you're drinking weed tea. Although the blooms are very floral and yummy, so I've been enjoying them by themselves. But you know, we need to prepare. We need to be alert and educated so that if anything crazy ever did happen, we wouldn't be left in the dark. I mean, come on. There have been bad things happen to all kinds of countries. Who are we to think we're so spoiled and well given that nothing would happen to us? Just saying, that's Bertie's opinion. That's just what I think about. So we got quite a bit of color on a few pages. We actually finished a page, and I was able to relieve some tension and stress verbally with you guys. And I hope you guys are all safe. Listen, let's just keep our eyes on the sky this spring. This could be a strange, weather spring for everyone. So let's just keep our eyes open and be safe and help each other. And if you don't know the Lord yet, what are you waiting for? Give your heart to Jesus, so that if something catastrophic did ever happen to us, we know where we're going. We know where our future lies. I love each and every one of you. Bye-bye.